I'm about to eat according to 4 different USDA dietary guidelines. 1992's the original food pyramid, 2005's My Pyramid, 2011's My Plate, and the brand new 2026.
It's upside down.
What?
Sir, the pyramid is upside down.
Turn the pyramid upside down.
Four eras in 4 days. Let's see what the government has been telling us to eat over the past 35 years. If you're a millennial like me, you probably remember seeing this thing and learning about it all over school. The base of the pyramid is bread, cereal, grains, pasta. The government really looked at Americans and was like, you know what you guys need? Bread. Then you've got your fruits and veggies in the middle. Next level up, we've got dairy and protein. 2 to 3 servings of meat, poultry, and fish. And at the very top, that tiny little peak of the pyramid, oils and sweets recommended to use sparingly. This jelly is the bomb, I'll tell you.
1 hour later.
Oh, I think I got what they call bread belly. My tum-tum hurts. This breakfast couldn't be any more different from what I usually eat. Volume is high, so I'm feeling very full. On to a midday snack. I'm having a latte made with skim milk, no fat milk in this video. Well, in 1992. And making a skim milk latte art is really hard, but I did nail this one, I gotta say. Also, we are having more bread. This is just half of a bagel. I'm adding a tiny bit of butter, but don't worry, using it sparingly. One of the biggest criticisms about the 1992 pyramid is that whole grains weren't really emphasized, just grains in general. So I am taking advantage and having just straight up white bread this entire time. It will change tomorrow though. I might as well enjoy it. People say oh, people don't follow the nutritional guidelines, but this is very similar to things that I would have ate. A lot of because we were just poor. So I didn't have a lot of fruits and vegetables just floating around my house. I remember my mom saying one time, she's like, oh, you guys never had berries. I mean, I guess we would have apples and bananas, but when you have so much cereal and when you have so much bread and stuff, it's just not something you're gonna reach for when you're a kid. And we were latchkey kids, so we were left to our own devices. I've gotta cut it in triangles and here's my lunch. I do feel like this is a lot of food. Am I tripping? Something that you have to understand about these guidelines. First of all, if you didn't know, the USDA and the HHS, so that's RFK, the MAHA movement, they combine to create these guidelines. And together they're supposed to provide unbiased dietary advice to the public. But the USDA is also supposed to promote American agriculture. And that kind of makes sense. If we're growing more plants, agriculture, and people are eating those plants, they're getting things straight from the source. That should be healthy, right? Marion Nestle, author of Food Politics, once referenced, good advice about nutrition conflicts with the interests of many big industries, each of which has more lobbying power than all the public interest groups combined.
The Department of Agriculture's food pyramid came out, and there was an enormous scandal about that in 1991 because the cattlemen protested against the way that pyramid was likely to go, and the Department of Agriculture withdrew it. And so it's very difficult for federal agencies to give any kind of dietary advice that indicates that people should eat less of anything, because eating less is very bad for business. Because eating less is very bad for business. Very bad for business.
Day 2, we're doing 2005's My Pyramid. I used to just freely make videos. I will need to spend some time decoding exactly what I can eat today, but I'll definitely have less of the white bread and bagels like I had yesterday and more whole grains. When comparing My Pyramid to the 1992 pyramid, the biggest difference is that there's no real hierarchy of food. It looks like grains and veggies are closer to a 1-to-1 ratio, and meat and beans are less than half of milk. I can't really tell if milk is the same size as veggies or not. There's also no serving size suggestions on this graphic, so it's hard to tell what my meals should be. You may have noticed one big difference between the pyramid, and it's not just the colors, okay? It's the little dude climbing up the pyramid. And this is one of the first times we see exercise recommended in the dietary guidelines. So I'm gonna go on a run. Maybe climb my own pyramid. I lifted a little bit. I am absolutely starving, so I went shopping for whole grain granola bars. Oh my gosh, these are so tiny. The rollout of my pyramid required a website to customize these suggestions, and I tried the Wayback Machine but couldn't really enter in my own info, so I did find this chart for a 25-year-old woman on a 2,200 calorie diet, which is around the amount that I usually eat. And I'm getting a little bit nervous because I'm starting to run out of room. I punch in the exact servings or weight suggestions into my calorie counting app, and the calories, including the 6 teaspoons of oil, comes out to about 1,700 calories, which is far less than the 2,200 guide here. Obviously, we're gonna need some wiggle room, but my pyramid is so low fat that I'm pretty far away from hitting an amount of calories to keep me from getting hungry. I guess everything outside of the serving size suggestions are discretionary calories, so outside of that, you can kind of eat whatever you want. Okay, that's good. I'll try to stick to the food groups that they give, but it's kind of confusing. First of all, you're not allowed to make fun of my hair. Let's move on. I'm about 300 to 400 calories under what I ate yesterday. I feel like the My period is a lot harder and less intuitive than the 92 pyramid. So anyway, since I've basically hit my protein goal, I'm gonna have some waffles. So there it is. So far I like the 1992 one better. We have time traveled, guys. The year is 2011.
My plate.
My plate.
Is that the one where pizzas are vegetables?
Okay, did you guys hear him? I have to add this in. Is this the one where pizza is a vegetable? And he's right. So here's what happened. When My Plate was released, and at a glance, you can already see it's now, it's no longer a triangle, it's a plate. And in that plate, there's more fruits and vegetables. And this kind of implies that every meal needs to have some fruits and vegetables. And when the DGA is updated, federal programs like school lunches need to also comply. You get new school meal standards, so the companies that provide those school meals need to update their recipes, they need to update their products. So school pizza. The companies that sell school frozen pizza argued that the tomato paste in the pizza should count as a vegetable serving. And they lobbied through Congress appropriations language, and they won. Obama signed the bill, and that's why we hear, yes, tomato paste in pizza counts as a vegetable. Now, major changes still happened in school lunches, but this is one that the industry won. My plate is the most straightforward at a glance. You make your plate look like the one pictured, similar rules that we've already seen on the other pyramids. But now it's on a plate. You know, I've always personally liked My Plate, but as I'm making my meals, I'm realizing most people just don't eat like this in separate food groups on a plate. It is probably going to be more nutritious, but it doesn't really reflect the meals that most of us eat, especially when we're trying to communicate and teach this to kids. I can see how My Plate wasn't the kind of solution to everything. Although I've been having skim lattes this entire video, I am a full fat dairy person. Well, when it comes to my coffee. I love having half and half in my coffee. In the updated pyramid, we get full fat dairy, and that is encouraged. Great for me. I don't know if it's great for the American public, but let's see what my macros are like at the end of the day. Hello, hello. Very exciting news mid-video to update you. That's not to do with dietary guidelines at all. I am redoing my garage gym. So let me show you. We have some equipment outside that we're bringing into this space. I'm afraid that I won't have enough room for all the equipment that I have, but
You'll see that in my next video, I guess. But one thing that the dietary guidelines do have is structure. And diet is one thing, but when it comes to lifting weights and your time in the gym, when you have zero structure and your goal is getting bigger muscles or getting stronger, then it's kind of like doing expensive cardio. And if you want a training program that actually works, then try my app, Stronger by the Day. In the app, we have a full gym, an express for short but effective workouts, and a body weight program so that you can train at any time, at any place. Stronger by the Day is all about lifting you up, so no creepy marketing, no progress photos needed. And shout out to all of our Stronger by the Day members. We are 25,000 lifters strong. And I love seeing you guys lift all the heavy weights on social media, so keep tagging me in those posts. If you're ready to quit those random workouts and instead have a system for hitting your own personal goals, then you can try Stronger by the Day for 7 days free. Just use the link down in my description or scan this QR code. We'll see if by the end of this video I can get some of this equipment back in here. But yeah, this is like a new era. I gotta find some better posters. One mistake that I think I've made is trying to just follow the guidelines so incredibly strictly, where suggestions are so clean that it's hard to hit my calorie requirements, especially in the middle of the day. Because, and by clean, I mean whole foods based, which is great, but basing most of your diet, especially in this one where wheat is at the very bottom, and I want to avoid that, I need to not avoid it at this moment in time. So I'm gonna have a bagel. I would normally put peanut butter on this, but I'm not going to because I need to watch my saturated fats while also choosing whole fat milk and steak. I mean, steak is like huge on this pyramid, and choosing like cooking with beef tallow. I'm happy to do that. I like doing that, but I am keeping an eye on that saturated fat. So I guess no peanut butter. Our part's a little confusing. Oh my god. You guys. It's hard. Let's look at the dietary guidelines and how they compare to farm subsidies. Here's what the US government suggests we eat, mostly fruits and veg, and here's what the US government subsidizes production of. Now, we grow a lot of grain in the US, and a lot of it is for animal feed. Now, there are great reasons for subsidizing these commodities, but this does illustrate that the dietary guidelines are not purely public health driven, and we should be skeptical of them. And my final meal was by far my favorite of the entire challenge. But following the pyramid and eating foods like steak, and in the picture, this is definitely a ribeye, a fattier cut of meat, and having whole milk throughout the day means that my saturated fat content came to 39 grams or 350 calories from saturated fat. And that was 16% of my calories for the entire day. The beef tallow thing introduces this ideological influence that RFK has on these guidelines, and that ideology has a conflict with the guidelines themselves. If I wanted to lower my saturated fat, I could have easily done that by just not using butter or beef tallow and instead using olive oil or avocado or a seed oil.
What's the best part of the day, Mom?
Aw. There's one thing I won't be having. Ready? Aspartame is the devil. Well, that got a lot more political than I originally intended, but I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments if any of the dietary guidelines throughout the years are similar to the diet that you have, or maybe the ideal diet that you wish you ate like. All in all, I think they're all pretty relatively healthy diets, complete common sense nutrition guidance. So that's good. If you're still here and you're not yet subscribed to my channel, then please subscribe right now. I have a goal of getting to 700,000 subscribers before 2027. So I would greatly appreciate it if you could help me reach that goal. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.